Hey guys, all right, so today we're going to be making Italian bread. It took me a lot of tries, a lot of tweaking and different recipes and stuff to get the kind of Italian bread that I grew up eating. I'm from Long Island, New York, and we have amazing Italian bread, and when I moved up to Albany, New York, I could not find the same kind of Italian bread. So with that being said, we are going to get started on the Italian bread. Now this is going to make one large loaf or two small loaves or four heroes. We don't call them subs or hoagies. We, on Long Island, call them heroes. So you get four rolls, two medium loaves, small medium, and then one big one. So we're going to do one large one today. So I have a cup and a quarter warm water. And we're just going to put this right in the KitchenAid. Then, and also what I was going to say is if you don't have a KitchenAid, listen, it took me 15 years to get my KitchenAid, okay? I've wanted one that long. And now that I have it, I don't know what I'd do without it because I have the grater attachment for it, so I grate all my cheese with this. I have the meat grinder and the sausage stuffer, so now I make my own sausage. And I have the pasta attachment, and I'd say about 80% of the pasta I make is homemade. This thing is just amazing. However, you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can use, I used a bread machine for many, many years to do my dough. You can also do it by hand. With the fibromyalgia, I cannot do it by hand. I just, even on a good day, everything is tender to the touch, so I wouldn't be able to do it, but you could. However, today we are working with the KitchenAid. So I've got the cup and a quarter of warm water. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar. And yes, you'll notice like everything in my house is elephants, elephant. They're on the walls. I have them everywhere. I love elephants. So we got 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, right? Okay, now we have got yeast, and I just want to speak a little bit about yeast, okay? I buy my yeast in bulk because to buy it in the grocery store, it is ridiculously expensive. I think you get 4 ounces of, say, like the Fleischmann's yeast in the grocery store, and it's like almost $5. I'm fortunate enough, thanks to a friend, that I am able to shop at Restaurant Depot. So I get a pound of yeast, so that would be 16 ounces, for just a little over $5, okay? However, I used to buy it off Amazon. Amazon used to sell it in 2-pound containers, and it was like $11.64 or something like that. With all of this COVID stuff going on now, they were selling a pound for like $17, almost $18, and I was just like, I'm not paying that, like not even maybe. BJ's carries it, Costco, Sam's Club. I believe it's 2 pounds, and I think it's around the price that Amazon used to be. It's like 11 or 12 bucks, but I mean, it's so much cheaper, and you just keep it in a jar like this. Yeah, you'll notice a lot of Aldi brands. I'm an Aldi shopper. I work on a very strict budget for my, what I can buy for food every month, and Aldi's is amazing. I absolutely, that store has saved me thousands of dollars. So, you'll see a lot of Aldi stuff. Anyway, I keep my yeast in jars like this in the refrigerator. I have read that if you keep it in the freezer, say you get that 2-pound bulk, you know, it does come in 2 packages, so each package is a pound. You can keep one of them in the freezer and it lasts even longer. So we're going to use 2.5 tablespoons of yeast. I've used active dry yeast and I have used instant. They're interchangeable to me. The instant seems like it rises a little bit quicker, but no noticeable difference, okay? So we've got that. Now let me go get my measuring cup and the attachments for the KitchenAid. I should have had this stuff already, but bear with me. Okay, so now to this, we're going to add 3 cups, and you always want to flatten cups and make sure you have an even cup, okay? So we got 3 cups of all purpose flour. I make this bread several times a week. So, I mean, it's seriously easy. The thing that's the most pain in the butt is the time it takes for you to wait for it to rise. And that is about it. Now, first, I use this attachment. It just helps mix it a little bit better, and then I will switch to my bread hook. So here we go. Sorry, this is a little loud, but it has to be done. While this is going, I am going to go get a little instrument to wipe down the side of the bowl. Okay. So we're just gonna mix this until it sticks together and forms a little bit of a ball. And I will show you in a minute when I stop it. I'm going to stop it now, and this is what it looks like. And I cannot turn the camera around while I'm in this mode, but you can see it. Okay, now I am going to scrape off this dough off the attachment. We don't want to waste any of this, you know, we want to get all this goodness in there. The more we get off, the bigger loaf we are going to have. And I'm telling you guys, when you try this, it's just, I mean, eating this bread, I could understand like back in the day, medieval times and stuff, how you could just have a loaf of bread for dinner and it would be delicious and it's hearty. You know, not ideal nutritional wise, but I can understand because this is delicious. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this attachment on. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, and I'm gonna be able to tell by the consistency if I'm gonna need to add more flour or more water. Right now it looks a little wet, and I can already tell you that you have to add a little bit more flour. This is not like, you can't just dump these ingredients in and forget about it. Just for this portion of it, you need to keep an eye on it and check out the texture of the dough. So now I'm gonna turn it on. And that was not even a quarter of a cup that I just added. You're just sprinkling it a little bit. Let me wash it really quick and I'll show you guys what this is doing. Okay, you see now it's not sticking to the sides any longer. Now we are just going to let this go until it forms a nice dough ball. And it's going to change. What you're doing, this is kneading it for you instead of doing it by hand. And what you are essentially doing is you are forming the gluten in the bread. You're activating the gluten, okay? And I will show you guys what this looks like when it's done. And I'm going to time it and tell you how long that I mixed it for. And it's on. I'm going to put it to speed 2 and I'll tell you how long I mixed it for. Okay, it has been exactly 4 minutes later and it is done. Now I'm going to show you what it should look like. Oops. Okay, you see how it's kind of almost silky looking in nature? And I will show you better when I pull it out. And it is still, it's a little sticky, okay? But it's also not dry. You don't want it too dry. So I'm just going to form this into a ball, a dough ball. And if you have never done that before, there actually is a method to it. Just kind of pull it in over on itself, okay? Those are the edges. And then pick it up and squish it together. And there is your dough ball. Now I'm going to take some oil and I'm going to put a little bit in the inside of the bowl. Then I'm going to take the dough ball. I don't know, I do it top side down first. And I'm going to squish it around in there, all right? Up on the sides, coat the sides, because when it rises, if you don't coat the sides, it's going to stick. So now everything is coated. I have flipped the dough ball over. The bottom is good to go. Everything's good. Now, what I do is I take a warm, damp rag, and I'm just going to lay this over that. And we are going to put this in a warm place for an hour, okay, until it doubles in size. Once it does that, I'm gonna come back and show you what it looks like, okay? And then after that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of punch it down a little bit, deflate it, so to speak, and then we are going to let it rise for another hour, okay? So when this is risen, I will come back and show you guys what it should look like. All right, guys, we are back, and I am going to show you, see how it doubled in size. Now all I'm gonna do is punch it down, deflate it, and I like to wrap it back up into another bowl, a loose bowl, and then I'm gonna flip it over. And then we are going to let this sit again for another hour until it doubles in size. Then we're gonna form the dough, and then we let it rise for another hour, and that's when we bake it. Okay, I will be back in a little bit. All right, guys, we're back. It's been another hour. Dough doubled back up again. So now what I'm gonna do is I have my rolling pin and my scraper. And I use the scraper if I'm gonna cut the dough in half or to clean up this flour that gets on the surface. It's such a good tool. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the dough out of here. Run a little water in this and a little soap, makes it easier to clean. Told you guys I clean as I cook because the last thing I want is a sink full of dishes after I'm done eating. You know, I just have the dinner plates pretty much when I'm done eating. Okay? So now you can see the dough feels so nice. It's great. I just formed it into a bowl again. Okay? I'm gonna lay it down here. I'm gonna go in for a little bit more flour for the top. Spread that a little. Move this a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna roll this out into like a rectangle, like a log, all right? And the length is gonna determine the length of the loaf, okay? So that looks about good for me. I'm just gonna roll it this way a little bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect, because now what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll it up, okay? And this is obviously a clean work surface. I don't think I mentioned it. But we're just gonna go and we're gonna tightly roll this and tuck in the end. Let's see if I can move this down even more for you guys so you can see it. Okay, that's better. We're tucking the end over here. And we're rolling and rolling. Now this end is a little thicker, that's why I didn't tuck that yet, okay? And keep rolling this up. Okay, now I'm gonna tuck that end in a little bit. And we are rolled, all right? Now what I like to do is I like to pinch the seams together, okay? So you get a nice seal. You don't want to pop them back open on you. Okay, and as you can see, that's nice and sealed. Now we're gonna put it in the little remaining flour that's left. Roll it back on so the top is facing us. And I don't like the way that little corner looks, so I'm just gonna fix it a little bit more. Okay, and there is your loaf. I'm going to put this right over here, and I will show you in just a second what that looks like. So here we go. You guys, can you see that? Yep, the loaf. All right, now all I'm going to do is I am going to take that rag that I had, and I am going to put this back up over here. And this rag, I'm gonna damp it again with some warm water. Squeeze it out. end, I'm going to lay it over the dough, over the loaf now that we have shaped, and I'm going to let it rise again for another hour, and then we're gonna come back when it's time to put it in the oven. Okay guys, we are back, and I have my oven preheated. It's already up to 400 degrees. As you can see, this thing got huge, it rose. Now I'm just gonna spread some egg wash on top of it. Now you can also put a little slice in the top of this. What that does is it kind of prevents the bread from splitting, like at the side. Not splitting, but if it does it, I'll show you what I mean when I take it out of the oven. I noticed if I put a slice in it, it kind of deflates. It loses a bit of the rise, so I don't, okay? Not anymore anyway, I don't. So now all I have here is some egg wash, and that is 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water. And we're just gonna lightly, we don't wanna be hard, because we're gonna, the whole time that we've had this thing rising is gonna be for naught if we manhandle this too heavily, and it's just gonna kill the rise. So we want to make sure that all of this is all nicey coated with the egg wash, sides, ends, you know, get as much of it as you can. One more on top here, and that's it. Now I'm gonna pop this in the oven. I have it on the middle rack, okay? And we are going to bake this. I do my timer for 20 minutes. There we go. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Hey guys, we are back. Timer just went off, and it is time to take this bad boy out of the oven. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be able to tell you what I was talking about, like with it's splitting, for lack of a better word. Okay, so, hold on. I wanna burn myself. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Oh my God. Okay, that's what we got. And then see that? That's what I mean by splitting. And I would probably care if I was serving it to people, honestly. So if you put that slit in the top of it, that's not gonna happen, but I don't care. So now what I do is I transfer it. You probably want to use oven mitts, but I cook so much, my hands are like immune to the heat, almost. Not the tops, bottoms are. And I'm constantly doing dishes. So, but here we have it. This is the beautiful loaf of Italian bread, and you can hear that crunchy, crispy outer like layer. And I'm gonna let it cool for about a half hour, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna slice a piece for you just so you can see what like the inside looks like and everything. But this is New York Italian bread, you guys, and I can't get this anywhere but like the city and Long Island. So I'm quite happy that finally, after many attempts, I now have a recipe that is true New York Italian bread. All right, we'll be back when it's time to cut it. Okay guys, we're back for the last part of the video where I get to taste this. I'm actually pretty hungry because I've been up early, since early. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut off the end, just a little piece. Okay. Look at that. Oh, and it's just, I don't even have words to describe. Okay, so that's what we're working with here. And we're gonna put a little butter on this. Well, a lot of butter, because I'm a butter whore. If there's one thing, it's Parmesan cheese and butter. Like, I can't get enough of. Okay, ready for the bite. I swear, you guys really gotta try this. I mean, it is so good. I mean, I don't know like how to describe it. It's the best Italian bread you've ever had. And that's not me tooting my own horn at all. I mean, you can get the same exact quality Italian bread if you live in the city, you don't have to make it. You know, if you live in New York City, if you live on Long Island, you don't have to make it. You live anywhere else in the country, maybe even the world, besides maybe Italy, you need to make it. All right. Try not to talk with a mouthful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you make it, let me know. What did you think? And that's about it, you guys. It's really pretty simple. Not hard at all. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe out in COVID land, and I will catch you in the next video.